Hello. Welcome to another episode of PixelNinja. I think that's what I call myself, a Ninja Pixel. It's hard to know. So I am recording this for both DTube and YouTube. And it's basically all about you and I learning how to do pixel art. I'm basically building on the last tutorial, which was to create a little Steemmonsters Goblin Sorcerer. So today we'll be animating him. So let's get started. Now I apologize for like the camera and stuff. It's probably all a bit close. I can't see myself, so I'm just gonna have to assume I'm not doing anything ridiculous. I'm just working off a laptop in a hotel room. So yeah, let's just get on with it. So I'll just delete this guy. You don't need to be welcomed anymore. Okay, so this is the little goblin guy that we created last time. And so this time we're going to animate him. So I think we could do like a walking thing, or maybe throwing a fireball, or talking. Let's see what we feel like. So first thing to do is in Pixel Edit. Obviously you can use any software that you like. I'm using Pixel Edit. You can do the same thing in Photoshop. You can create pixel art pretty easily in things like Microsoft Paint, and just all sorts of free art programs. But animating gets a little bit trickier. But Pixel Edit is like $9. It's really not expensive. So if you can afford it, I'd definitely consider picking it up. I really like it. So first thing to do is basically we want to resize the canvas, I think. Yes. So our pixel art is really small. It's 25 pixels by 25 pixels. And we're going to actually, we're going to increase the amount of boxes there are. So basically with this, oh, it's weird that it changed that to 100. Oh no, that's the total height. So yeah, our little box will still be 25 pixels. But we're going to have 16 of them, and that's our that is the space that we have in order to animate. So normally when you animate, you would basically create in here you've got layers. So at the moment you can see that we're at layer 0, and basically you'd create a layer for the head, for the arms, for the body, for the legs. For backgrounds, all that sort of stuff, you'd make them different layers. But because this is a very beginner pixel art with really not many moving components, we're just going to animate it as is. So basically I go to the selection tool and I double click and I copy that, I double click in the next one and I paste it. And I found, and then press enter. I found this a lot easier than what I was doing was basically like grabbing it, and then if you press Control, moves it around. Oh yeah, Control C, Control V. This is what I was doing for ages, and then like I'd really struggle like to get it on the exact same level. So then like my guy would be like jumping around, which was not my favorite. So yeah, I found that basically just double clicking basically selects everything in that square. Double clicking again clicks basically selects the entire next square, and then you can just paste him straight in, and that means that he's not changing position slightly, and so it doesn't look jittery. So yeah, one thing I like to do is kind of figure out what my endpoint is and then animate towards that. So let's have him create a fireball. So the endpoint for that, and then remember Alt is the way to select your color. And one thing I really like about Pixel Edit that like Photoshop doesn't do is where your cursor is. If you scroll the mouse, that's where it magnifies. So see my cursor's in the top right. Then if I go to the top left, it'll magnify that part. Like I find that just so helpful. It's funny how much time that saves. And then if you press space, that gets this little hand guy, and so you can center the screen as you like. So what I'm going to do is basically put his arms where I think they should be if he's going to be like creating fireballs. So going down, his arms were 3 pixels, but I think I'll just make them 2. I think that kind of is a little bit proportionate. If you think about like someone's arm, there's like the shoulder and then the bicep and then the forearm. So basically when you put your arm up, your shoulder actually goes back a little bit. So I know that's very technical for pixel art, but basically I think if I made his arm 3 pixels long, it would actually look too long. And then on this side, because it would, basically I want his hands to come up like he's creating a fireball. So I'm actually going to remove it here, and let's see, let's pick this color. Does he want 3? Maybe this side wants 3. Yeah, so now it looks like his arms are up. So the next, so it might not even actually take 3 squares. 1, 2, 3, maybe. Let's have a look. So then basically these 2 squares in the center are to get from A to B. Get from this point to this point. So basically arms down to arms up. So let's grab this guy. Oops, I didn't do that the best way. See how like it's then slightly harder to get exactly right? All right, and so with arms, if you're putting your arms up, you tend to go forearms first. So actually, let's do this one. Looks a little strange, but it is what it is. So let's have a look how this is going to be animated. So basically to add an animation, you go down to this box here and you click on the plus, and then click on the gear to give it a name. So let's say fireball. And the base tile is 0, so that's this one here, and then the length is 4 from the base tile, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then down here you can play it. So you can see that he's putting his arms up real quick. So yeah, that seems pretty fine actually. So it's just a very quick animation. Maybe we'll actually move his head. So like if you're gonna throw your arms up, your head actually goes down a little bit. So it's like you're putting effort like, huh! So here, let's grab his head. And so basically if you wanna move some pixels, you select the area that you want and then you hold down Control and that'll move it. So then we play it again. So it looks like his head. And so when you make a movement like that, if there's any like loose kind of things, you want to like convey that motion. So, so what I'll do is I'll basically select this square here and then hold down Control and then move it up. Let's see how that looks. So yeah, it looks, maybe we'll even move the ears as well. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, so it gives him like just a little bit of jiggle. I think we'll just help the case. Okay, so basically what I'm envisaging is he creates a fireball and then shoots it out. As the Goblin Sorcerer in Steemmonsters, he hits with fireballs, so that's kind of how I envisage it's going to work. So let's say the first square, let's say like it's a yellow. So it's like the beginnings, he's creating fire. And then basically let's just put, let's say a dot there. So he's creating a little. So then, so selection tool is S, so we might try and use the shortcuts. Now on. Let's enter. And so I'm just pressing Control D to kind of get rid of the selection. All right, so it starts off yellow, and then let's say it kind of goes like that, so it's sparking out. And let's change that yellow to this kind of orangey yellow. All right, so then we S, double click. All right, so next, let's increase it further. So this orange can take the place of the yellow. And let's grab a red. So basically it's going from yellow to orange to red. And then we'll grab, so basically to select a color, click on, I'll hold down the Alt key. Okay, we've got the startings of our little fireball. All right, let's, how big is it going to make it? Probably that's a fairly good size. So let's start to make it combust and start to move away. So basically he creates it and then he shoots it out. So selecting the yellow, the red, sorry. How are we going to do this? Let's just have it sparking off a little bit. All right, so now we're going to move it. So S for selection. All right. One, two. And then E for erase, and let's move that green. And then we want all right, this guy's arm was like one longer. I think that's about pretty right. And then let's change the colors a little bit more. So basically by changing it each time, it gives it more of a flicker. All right, so now let's see how that's going. So let's change our animation to a length of 8. And then down the bottom here, and you can move these screens to make them bigger. Cool. Alright, so I don't really like it being square. So let's take away a couple of... And still looks a bit square, obviously. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you can hear the cars in the background, but they beep. So I'm in Barbados at the moment, and basically, like, so all the cars that are beeping are actually vans, and they beep because they're basically like asking like people on the road like if they want to ride. So yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty funny. So yeah, it's just beeping constantly. But yeah, I like it. It's rad. All right, so I want to give this thing a bit of a tail. And we've got to keep it flickering. I want to give it more of an arrow shape. Let's it's a mess, but it's our mess. Now the neck, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Just wasn't sure if there should be a neck there or not. Anyway, I think we're going well. So I'm moving the fireball 2 each time because it's fast, you know. All right, so let's get our guy back. Alright, so our little guy is back to normal, and so now it's just, let's put, this is a good color. Cool, so now it looks a bit more like a rocket that's on fire, so I like that. One, 2. So as you can tell with animation, like, there's obviously a lot to it. You pretty much have to treat each square as, you know, like its own separate little piece. And obviously, the more complex you get, as soon as you start adding in backgrounds and stuff, it all gets, you know, thoroughly more complex. But we're learning, so we'll just start off simple. So here you can see the actual fireball is going into the next screen. So we don't want that, because it'll look like basically over here, like the fireball will go off towards the left and looks like coming back on the right. So we need to delete any part that goes over this line. So it looks like it's basically just shooting off. And then we need to change up the pixels again. So I'm trying to do it like a little bit haphazard, just because fire, you know, fire. So basically, you know, now that we'll have 16 squares of this animation, I want to get him back to the start so that it can be a loop. So basically, I'm going to copy this square. So that's our endpoint. Now, you don't need to actually make the endpoint the exact same as the start point. It would just have to be similar enough to get back to the start. So, you know, if it's like basically one animation away, that's good. But basically, I'll just have him like pretty much standing there for 2 counts. Just going to change these colors up a little bit. All right, we're nearly there. So I assure you I'm not likely doing everything the exact right way, but you know. And I'll just grab a little orange. Cool, and so let's have a look. So we'll change our animation to be 16 in length. So let's have a look down here, how he's going. How good is that? So because we've sort of got a flicker and it looks like a fireball. So it's awesome. The only problem that I have is that his arms just straight drop back, where I think we should have him put them down. Put them down. All right, so let's see. So basically he's moving his arm back. Actually, that's how that one should be. And this one should actually be... So obviously there's no right or wrong answers with this sort of stuff. You've basically just got to feel it. Alright, let's have a look now. Yeah, so now he's kind of putting his arms back a bit more naturally. And should probably slide his head back a little bit because he's actually just quite... he just doesn't seem impressed with his own abilities. So as it's... See if that looks any different. I think it's mistimed a little bit. Let's put that on back. Maybe like this one here. Yeah, so like it's very simple, maybe a little bit extreme with the back. But yes, so this is our animation now. So if you're making a game or something, like you would have the game instigate this GIF file when it's, you know, time to shoot a fireball. I wonder if I can. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Basically, you would save this, you'd save it as a GIF, and then you've got an animated file. You can change the speed. So see, we've got time frame multiplier, sorry. So if I set it as 50, it would go way quicker, and maybe that looks better. Or if you set it to 200, for example, then it goes like way slower. I would say oddly, boringly slow. Yeah, let's change it back to, let's say 75. Yeah, I like it. I'm not sure if I'm in love with the head moving back. Maybe I'll just do it, maybe bring it back here. No, it looks like he's just jigging. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yes, obviously you can set these things up however you like. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next time. All right, bye.